say that it feels right.
Hey guys, welcome back for another Clash Royale video. So in today's video we will be taking a look at some top ladder 2.6 gameplay shared by Noro. By the way, Noro is a Japanese 2.6 one trick I believe, and he shared some very good gameplay against hard matchups such as Golem, Lava, Goblin Drill and stuff. And yeah, I think everyone's familiar with the deck. It's obviously 2.6, and yeah, let's just jump right into the replays. Okay, first game against Wartop. Noro is on the top of your screen. Wartop is considered one of the best Royal Recruits user, and he's currently using the Goblin Drill Royal Recruit stack. So Noro cycled an Ice Spirit and Wartop cycles arrows. Noro goes in with Hawk, Wartop defends it with a cage. That cage placement will deny all damage from the Hawk, so it's actually quite nice for Wartop. And Noro just Ice Golems at the back and Skeletons for the Brawler. Both players are resetting. Bomber from Wartop, Musketeer cycled, and then Dark Prince by Wartop. I believe Noro will go in. Okay, he's going in with an Ice Spirit and a Hawk opposite lane. Okay, Cannon to defend against Dark Prince and the Recruits. This for the Bomber. And the Goblin Drill on the right hand side. So Noro locks the Goblin Drill as well as the Recruits. But he still has to go in with Cannon, or else the Recruits would get a lot of damage onto the tower. And Wartop is currently in the lead in terms of Elixir. So he's gonna cycle a cage, and Noro is just gonna sit back and wait for Wartop to make a move. So it's gonna cycle Ice Golem at the back, and then Musketeer. Zappy split by Wartop. It's probably going to do the same thing again, or maybe not. So Noro is playing it very patiently, if that's even a word. And now he goes in with Hawk, with the assist of Musketeer, and Wartop splits Recruits as well as cage to defend against Hawk and Musketeer. Cannons is set up by Noro to defend, and a Goblin Drill is played by Wartop to get some damage onto the tower. Hawk Rider to pressure opposite lane. Dark Prince is respawned, and Noro is getting 2 hits from the Hawk Rider, which is very huge. Cannon once again played to defend against Dark Prince. Man, Cannon's strong, man. Low key. Then Musketeer cycle at the back. Ice Golem for the opposite lane. Fireball for the Mother Witch every single time when you have Fireball. And Cannon again cycled, preparing to defend against Recruits. Sorry about that. Musketeer cycle at the back to defend. The Ice Spirit to pull, and Hawk as well. Ice Golem to pull the opposite lane Recruit. Skeletons for the Goblin Drill and Log. And Hawk Rider is gonna get a shot. So Hawk Rider once again played, knowing that Wartop doesn't have cage right now. And Wartop has to spend quite a lot of elixir to defend, and Hawk Rider still got a shot. Cannon once again set up by Noro, and Recruit split 4-2 formation, but that's gonna be that won't be enough, as the Ice Golem will pull all of the Recruits into the Cannon, and Skeletons for the Drill once again. Hawk to pressure and lock for the Goblins, and the Hawk is getting a lot of damage, and the Musketeer as well, bringing down both towers to, well, close to below 1000. Musketeer once again cycle at the back, preparing to go on offense as well as preparing to defend. The Ice Golem to assist the Musketeer, and then Zappies and Dark Prince on the opposite lane. Fireball for the Mother Witch, and Recruit split once again. So I noticed that he's cycling a lot of cannon and musketeer to defend against all those recruits. So that might be what you want to do, and then cannon for the drill as well as the Dark Prince lock as well. So it's better safe than sorry. So that's why he locked. And then recruit split once again, and then Hawk rather to pull the recruits back so that the musketeer could walk up, and then the Ice Golem to tank for the right hand side recruits. Ice Golem is cycled once again to defend against the recruits as well as the Zappies. Fireball onto the Zappies and Mother Witch, and yeah, there's nothing Warthog can do. There's no more time. One last Goblin through attempt, but the Hawk gets done. And a very nice game against Warthog. Okay, so that was against the Goblin Drill recruit stack, and now on to Egiant. So Noro is on the bottom of the screen right now, and Cooper is playing the very popular version of Egiant right now, I think, with Mother Witch and Inferno D as well as the Bomber. So Hawk, maybe okay, that Ice Golem was a juke, so that Cooper would respond with something, and Cooper responded with a Dark Prince and a Lightning for the Musketeer. So that's quite an aggressive move, I would say. But Noro can't go in with Hawk right now because Cooper might have Tornado, and yes, indeed he has. But he's gonna play Ice Golem and Hawk. But the Ice Golem kind of get pushed by the Hawk, and the Hawk went in front. So Cooper activated King just like that. Plus, Cooper has lightning damage on the left hand side of the tower, so he's in a slight lead over Noro. Okay, Skeleton split at the back, and then Cage set up, banking for Elixir, and then Ice Spirit cycle, Ice Golem and Hawk as well. That Hawk won't see the Cage because the Cage is placed too low. So I think Cooper made a mistake there, and the Dark Prince turned to the Ice Golem, and Hawk actually got a lot of damage. So Egiant is split by Cooper, and Musketeers and Cannon preparing to defend. Ice Golem has to be played to tank for the Brawler and log as well. Push back the Egiant to allow the Musketeer and the Cannon to do more damage, and meanwhile the Bomber actually got 2 shots in. And Ice Spirit force out even more response by Cooper, or not, he's going to suffer a lot of damage. Mother Witch has to be played, and the Musketeer tend to pick. So Cooper played a Lightning, so that was aggressive. And then Noro just went with Hawk and Skeletons. The Skeletons was to force out more response because only NATO won't do it enough against Hawk and Skeletons. So Cannon played, and then Log to make the Dark Prince stop from charging. Hawk is played once again. This time Cooper cycled an Egiant at the back, so it doesn't have Elixir for Cage or NATO. It doesn't have a NATO in cycle, so yeah. And Musketeer cycled at the back, preparing to defend. Cooper played an Inferno D, and it's gonna pull everything into the Egiant's lightning circle thingy. But he's gonna cycle to another Cannon Noro, that is, to stop the Egiant from breaking through, and then Lock to make sure of that. But Cooper is back to another Egiant, Fireball onto the Mother Witch, and then Skeletons and Ice Spirit cycle to another Cannon again. Lock as well. Fortunately for Noro, it actually hit the Dark Prince shield as well. So yeah, the Ice Golem played tank for the Dark Prince, so that the Cannon can do more damage and Firebolt cycle. There's nothing Cooper can do right now, and yeah, that's basically GG. So it all came down to when Cooper actually played Egiant at the back, and yeah. So next game against Mr. Friend, he's playing Hawk EQ with Firecracker, and it's gonna cycle Ice Spirit at the bridge and Skeletons in spawn. Skeletons cycled by Mr. Friend, and yeah, both players are just cycling spells. And Mr. Friend will play a Firecracker for the Ice Golem Noro plate, and then Ice Spirit cycle opposite lane. So both players will try to deny as much damage as they can, because all the chip damage that they got from Laoo and Ice Spirit will add up very soon. That skeleton, ooh. So the Firecracker actually hit the King Tower, and Mr. Friend gave the good game. Ice Spirit cycle and as well as the Hawk, so that Noro can get another cannon to defend against Mr. Friend's Hawk. And Mr. Friend for some reason didn't go for Tesla and went for a Firecracker as well as Ice Spirit, and Noro's Hawk actually got a lot of damage. He's giving the good game again. So both players are just waiting at this point. Noro cycle and Ice Golem. Cause he don't want to cycle at the back of King Tower, because Mr. Friend might cycle to a Firecracker and then splash onto the tower while the Ice Golem is in range, and then a Hawk is played by Noro as well as Ice Spirit, falls out a Tesla. So he might outcycle Tesla potentially in the next push. And Mr. Friend just cycles a Firecracker at the back, and then goes in with Hawk as well as EQ. So Noro is familiar with it knows what Mr. Friend has in hand and went in with Hawk instead of cannon to defend. But Mr. Friend actually got a lot of damage out of the Hawk EQ push. Noro is going in again with Hawk and Ice Golem, but Valkyrie, Ice Spirit and Skeletons are there to stop the Hawk. It doesn't get a hit, and Mr. Friend went in with a Hawk himself. So EQ came down, and Hawk's gonna get a shot from Mr. Friend, and Tesla played by Mr. Friend, and now Mr. Friend is very close to tying the damage. Ice Golem to protect the Musketeer, Valkyrie for the Musketeer, and Cannon played anticipating the Hawk. Then Hawk is played as well as a Log. EQ cycle and a Tesla is played by Mr. Friend. Okay, Ice Golem probably to cycle, and then a Hawk for the Tesla right away, as well as Log for the Skeletons. Mr. Friend played a Hawk himself, and then a Cannon by Noro. A Log has to be played to prevent damage from Noro's Hawk. Then Skeletons played, Hawk played once again, and so Mr. Friend actually cycles quite quick with his deck. Both players are using a cycle deck, so yeah, that's and a Valkyrie cycle by Mr. Friend, and a Hawk to pull the Valkyrie back, as well as a Log for the Skeletons. So both Hawks are connecting onto the tower, and okay, I think Noro has this game in the bag, because Noro actually only needs 2 Fireball, meanwhile Friend needs 3 EQ and a couple Logs, and yeah, that's GG. So next game against Golem, which I think a lot of 2.6 player will suffer against. So against Master, it's not Master, okay. And see what Noro does. So he's not going in with a Hawk like he usually does. Instead, he's gonna cycle a Musketeer for the Bomber. And then a Lumberjack is played by Master. Ice Golem to tank for the Musketeer to allow her for more damage, but the bomb actually splashed onto the tower. Hawk to kite back the Mega Minion, and then Tornado to activate King. But the Musketeer actually got 4 shots, I believe, and then cycling Ice Spirit at the bridge. Skeleton split, and cycling Musketeer, preparing to defend. Cannon's played. Night Witch is also played by Master, and Bomber played on the bridge to assassinate, to snipe the Musketeer, then Fireball onto everything, and then Ice Golem. a log, so that Night Witch dies and the bats actually target onto the Ice Golem, and when it pops, it will all die. Ice Spirit has to be played for the Lumberjack, and a Hawk is played. But Beatmaster has a nado in hand, so it just plays it and pull the Hawk to the King Tower. So Beatmaster actually has quite a damage lead, over 700 damage lead over Noro. And Noro's just gonna cycle Ice Golem at the back. Meanwhile, Beatmaster played a Mega Man at the back just to cycle. And then Beatmaster probably going in with Golem once again, but he chose to go in on the right lane because Noro has a Musketeer on the left lane already, so he doesn't want the Musketeer DPS out. And Noro pressures with a Hawk, sets up a cannon to defend, and played a log so that the Musketeer could finish off everything, and Beatmaster has to spend Elixir to defend against the Musketeer. Fireball onto the Night Witch as well as the Golem. Nado to pull in the Musketeer, but okay, it actually targeted onto the Ice Golem. For a second there, I thought it went for the Musketeer, but it's alright. Cannon and Musketeer played, and Ice Spirit tank for the Mean Packer. And ooh, that's a very close Ice Golem by Noro, and a log to the dying, all damage from Bomber. And a Night Witch is played by Beatmaster. So it's gonna play a Mega Minion, just a Mega Minion to minimize the damage. And then Cannon by Noro and Ice Golem to pull all the troops behind. That nado was a fail, I think, but that log is a fail as well. Skeleton had to be played to pull the Night Witch and Lumberjack back onto the Musketeer and Cannon as well. Ice Golem to tank for everything. And yo, man, that was a quite nice defense by Noro. And now he pressures again with a Hawk because he knows that Beatmaster doesn't have a nado in hand, so he has to spend troop, which means probably go to waste and just cycling spell at this point because he knows he only needs another fireball to win. There's no time for Beatmaster left, and yeah, that's GG. So yeah, what a comeback by Noro, despite the first push that Beatmaster got a lot of damage. So on to our final replay against Hasi. Is that how you pronounce the name? Or maybe Husei, I'm not too sure. Noro is on the top of the screen. So I'm just going to call him Hus. Hus is going to play a Lava Hound, the Lavaloon version with Arrow and Zap. So Noro on the top of the screen, Lava Hound first play, obviously by all Lava Hound players, they are going to do that. That's basically how Lava Hound's played. Musketeer cycle to defend, and Ice Golem to protect the Musketeer from coming threats, and then Arrow to predict skeletons. So Noro just decides to go in with Hawk opposite lane and cycles to another Musketeer for the Miner as well as the Lava Hound. Meanwhile, Hus played an Inferno D to stop the Hawk from getting too much damage onto the tower, and then Skeletons played by Noro to prevent more damage from Inferno D. And yeah, Hus has to react to this Musketeer or else. So he's just gonna zap and then probably gonna lava again. So okay, so he does lava again, and Noro just goes in with Hawk once again. Scaredrax has to be played. So Hus is not sacking the tower like normal Lava Hound usually too. Man, I see a lot of Lava players usually just sack the whole tower and then go in with something. Balloon, Scaredrax, gigantic push, and then Musketeer is played for the balloon. He noticed that he waited for the balloon to come in front of the Lava Hound, and then he played the Musketeer. Miner to assassinate. Okay, he's not trying to kill the Musketeers. I don't think that was a good play though. And Noro just goes in with Hawk, and knowing that Hus doesn't have the elixir to defend against the Hawk, and yeah, the Hawk is gonna take the tower. And I think the Musketeer is gonna get a few shots. Okay, Hus played his zap, so both players are resetting right now. Hus is gonna go in with a Lava Hound once again, and Musketeer is once again played by Noro. Skeleton cycle at the back, Ice Golem, and then a Hawk to pressure. so that even if Haas manages to get the tower, he would still have a damage lead over Haas, and cannot pull against can't pull the balloon. Then a miner and arrow for the musketeer, played fireball onto everything, but that's too late. Haas actually got the tower, and skeletons to pull the Inferno D so that it doesn't get too much damage. And then Hawk and Ice Golem Barbarian prepared, but the Hawk is breaking through and it's gonna get a shot, so it quite commanding lead by Noro, but he still has to deal with all of this. Barbarian, Inferno D and Lava Hound push on the right hand side towards the King Tower, and Cannon split, and a Hawk as well. So Haas has to play a Scary Drag to prevent damage from the Hawk, but the Hawk actually got 2 shots. And a lock is cycled, fireball as well, so at this point he only needs another lock. And okay, the balloon's actually connecting, and Noro gets it done. So yeah, man, I don't know what to say against Lava. So actually I have no idea. I'm just speechless right now. Because Noro played it very good, and yeah, that's basically I don't know what to say right now. So at the end it was pretty close, but Noro only has to spell cycle 2 locks and a fireball to secure the dub, and that's basically it. By the way, Noro has a Twitter account, so I will link his Twitter in the description below, so don't forget to follow him on Twitter. And yeah, this is the deck 2.6. Everyone's probably familiar with it, and I'll see you in the next one.